It's not beer pong. It's not cornhole. It's Pop Darts. And it's taken over the sports world one suction cup at a time. From ESPN's Top 10 to your living room table, this is What's Poppin', the most satisfying sports podcast in the world with Mr. T and the commish. The game, the players, the wild moments you can't script, and the laughter that comes with it. Two guys, one league, zero filter. Let's go.
All right. Hey, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to What's Poppin' with Mr. T and the commish.
What's going on, guys? Doing fantastic today, commish. How are we doing?
It's been a great day. It's been a great week. You know, can't lie. So, what have you been up to since last time we talked?
So, my day-to-day job, I am a contractor by trade, so I spend most of my time doing kitchen remodels is what I'm working on right now. I do pretty much anything from electric, plumbing, and all the construction trade type stuff. If I can't do it, I'll hire somebody to do it, that kind of stuff. You know how it is, just general contractor type work. So that's my day-to-day. What's your day-to-day, Jeremy?
that could vary on a day-to-day basis, but between working on the league and and developing relationships with people around the country as we grow the sport, that can be some of my day-to-day. I was a general contractor for years. I've been out of the game for a while, but I'll still dabble. I'll still build a deck here and there. I'll still hang out, but no, nothing. Haven't done a kitchen remodel in a real long time. That's for sure. So, have smoked any good meat? I know when we first met, that's one of the things we talked about is we both kind of run a mean smoker these days.
Oh yeah. I've had a busy past month. October's always crazy for us in the catering world. So, we've had some big events done. Man, I've smoked hundreds of pounds of meat over the last couple weeks. It's been crazy.
Man, I got to catch up. We had a chili cook off a little while ago, and I used a smoked chili, which was
nice.
Awesome, but other than that, I've been behind the ball. I got to get going on that. But as the weather chills up here, I'll tell you, man, I think that's when I hunker down, smoke a couple more, a little bit more meat than I do normally because, 'tis the season.
Right. Nothing like a good snow day to throw a brisket on.
Heck yeah, especially when you got to go low and slow, man. Those could take 16 to 18 hours to get out of the right way.
Yeah, I cook them hot and fast. I knock them out in under 8 now.
See, you're going to have to teach me. I have never been able to pull off the hot and fast. So something about smoking, I've tried. I've just never been able to pull that off. Just never.
I can learn you real well.
That sounds good. So, hey, on to this Pop Darts thing we got going on. Some exciting things going on in the world of Pop Darts.
Very exciting.
Today, we're going to try to focus, our episode on training, routine. We're going to have our first stick talk segment where you're going to teach us something. You're going to teach the listeners, how to play like a pro, how to, step up their game. What are you thinking? What are you thinking about today's episode?
I'm going to do my best to teach everybody out here how to hold a Pop Dart, how to throw a Pop Dart without actually standing there and giving them the Patrick Swayze standing behind them, holding their arm and showing them how to throw it. I'll do my best.
Did you just throw out a ghost reference for some of our viewers that may be too young to have any idea what you're talking about whatsoever? So, for those of you that have to Google that, that's a ghost reference. And yes, you'll find it on YouTube. Don't worry about that. You'll be able to find what he's talking about. So, it's that scene with the clay.
That's right. That's the one.
Well, we appreciate you not standing behind us while teaching us how to throw a Pop Dart this week. So, when it comes to your routine, let's kind of jump in a little bit on that. Do you have practice routines? Do you have stuff that you guys do on a weekly, daily basis to, improve your game, get things rolling for you?
Our practice routine is not much of a practice routine because everybody knows that when you're throwing Pop Darts, if you don't have a camera rolling and something happens, you can't prove it, and nobody's going to believe you if you just tell them, oh, I promise it happened. I got a triple knobber, and then I almost had that quad knobber, and it stuck, but then it popped. No, if it's not on video, it didn't happen. So we only are throwing Pop Darts when we've got a camera rolling, and if we've got time to get all that set up, then we are pretty much going live. And so we're getting, we're trying to get in 2-3 lives per week at about 2 hours each. So we're throwing about 6 hours a week. There are some random throws throughout the week in the house that pop up, but if it's not on video, like I said, and you throw something that's worth getting on video and you don't have that camera rolling, that is sad stuff.
Yes. And that took me a while to realize, you can't, nobody's going to believe you. You got to get that camera rolling. I mean, it's just your phone at minimum. You got to have something on it.
Exactly.
So, and do you guys, so I've seen a lot of your lives. I mean, it's very competitive. So is there do you guys start with, a short game? Do you guys start at a shorter distance? How do you guys kind of really prepare? I mean, it sounds like, you're live, so you guys are having fun. You guys are interacting with your fans and with all your followers and subscribers. But is there, something that gets you guys kind of dialed in for, a head-to-head or, a bigger competition maybe at the end of one of these streams?
We have got a huge process of getting set up for streams. Colton has taken us to every single thing has to be absolutely perfect, which I love because he's just so picky about things. And I just sit there and watch him set things up, and it's hilarious. But I mean, we've got 3 to 4 cameras going at a time. We've got, I think, 7 different monitors between all 3 of us plus the TV. We've got lights set up. We've got to get angles right. We've got to get the subscriber count up there just right. It's so much that goes into setting up for the lives that I think we've done a BTS video of it before, just kind of what it takes to get everything set up. But that's when it comes to an actual warm-up for us, I don't think it was actually aired on the ESPN special, but there was a teaser video put out, a promo video put out by Pop Darts Games, where they showed me dropping down and cranking out some push-ups before we walked out onto the stage. And so, yeah, we always try to, I'll always do some kind of arm warm-ups before, whether it just get blood moving and get loosened up a little bit. But those push-ups, I'm not saying that they didn't work, but I didn't see anybody else out there doing them.
Just gonna say I didn't see anybody else doing push-ups, and hey, who's gonna knock the results that the push-ups had? So
right, that's right.
No, and on my front, warm up. If I'm playing, if I'm gonna play, if I'm getting into it, like tournament, league, I tend to try to get my consistency, so I'll start at 10 feet. I don't believe in starting any closer to 10. I actually think the game is incredibly hard from
It is incredibly hard under 10 feet.
What game, that's again such a weird paradox, but what game in the world gets significantly harder from 2 to 4 to 6 feet? But it does.
It does.
And that's what I do is I try to stick the dart, stick my form, take a step back, try to duplicate that. And that way I'm just not out there, chucking darts. And, I don't play as much as I'd like, sometimes, but that's kind of my only, I guess I would call it routine, when I'm playing. But
no push-ups pregame?
I'm starting to think about it. I got league tonight, I might get out there and knock a couple out, see what that does for me. So the leagues are growing like crazy, and I'm not going to be able to get away with winning very many matches if I don't find something to get myself warmed up and rolling.
You get you a little 2-pound dumbbell and just use it as to practice, do your reps.
That's awesome. Yeah, that would be. You could carry that right in your bag, in your Pop Darts bag along with everything else, and they're like, "What is that?" That's my warm up routine, man. I'm digging deep. I'm digging deep today. So, yeah, that is fantastic. So you're throwing about 6 hours a week. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's a way where you don't forget your motion. It's a way where you don't, get, I guess, cold, and, you're always kind of fresh, and, you keep that muscle memory going. Is there anything you can recommend? Let's say you're a casual player that wants to start getting into it more. is there anything you can recommend for those players in terms of things to concentrate on when they're playing, things to, let's say they don't want to live stream. Let's say they want to practice, they want to get better. For those of our fans that may be like, I want to quietly, which is not really a Pop Darts thing, but let's say there's somebody that wants to quietly get on the scene and, and really improve their game. What are things that they should work on? What are things that you would recommend, as they're playing every week?
Consistency is going to be key. You got to throw a lot of darts. Just keep throwing darts. If you can't figure out the throw, get a set of rookie darts. Start out with a set of rookie darts. They're fantastic. They've got a set of fletchings on the back, more like a traditional dart, and they stay a lot straighter. They fly a lot straighter. Mama Z is still stuck on the rookie darts. She's just can't quite grasp the pro concept yet, but she's getting there. She's still practicing every now and then on that. But yeah, consistency, throw darts. You got to get the throw figured out is so important, to where you don't have the flipping, the tomahawk, what we call it, the tomahawk throw. It's just you lose so much consistency there. So you want to get it to fly straight. You want to get it to never do any flips in the air. You want it to just fly nice and straight, land where you're wanting it. Once you get the throw down, then you start working on your aim, your consistency as far as where you're landing on the table. But the main thing is to just get that throw figured out.
So when you're training, are you aiming for, a lot of sports, aim small, miss small? Are you aim big, like aim big, miss big? What are you aiming for, a particular spot with every dart? Are you aiming for, so like if you're a new player, do you have like, hey, you should be aiming for this 3-inch circle, or you should be aiming for this 10-inch circle? What's kind of your thoughts on how a player should kind of focus on, on their target, if you will, where they're going?
I would suggest like a 12-6-3 method is what I would call it. So for when you're first getting started, you want to try to stick within 12 inches of the target. So basically a 12-inch radius around the target. You want to try to, if you can get consistently within 12 inches of the target, you can start making some noise at your local tournaments. Once you get comfortable with that 12-inch circle, try for a 6-inch radius around that target. And then once you get really good, start working your way up, narrow it down to that 3-inch radius around that target. And once you can start getting that consistent, you're going to start getting some trophies.
Yeah. I mean, if you're hitting within a 3-inch target, you're going to be hard to beat. I mean, especially on a consistent basis. So no, that's outstanding advice. I think that is something that a lot of these young players and new players should really take into consideration. Is you guys didn't start at the 3-inch circle. Nobody did. There's not a single pro that came out here and started, hey man, I'm going to hit everything at this 3-inch circle. In fact, I would say if you're a natural, just sticking 6 out of 6 darts, 4 out of 4 darts, 5 out of 5 darts on a table is an excellent start to your, to your career and to your Pop Darts career. Because I think so many people see this game and they take one of two approaches. It's really easy and really silly and like anybody can do it. And then they actually do it and they're like, whoa, this is hard. How does anybody do this? And there's a middle ground to this. I think people shouldn't get discouraged when they go to these leagues and they go to these tournaments and see, a player like yourself who's been doing this for a while dominate, at any level, at the highest level, versus like these other players have not played before and they're having trouble sticking darts. I think finding those goals and setting those goals, that 12-6-3 method is a phenomenal advice. For a new player, I think, getting into the sport, because it's really going to help you gauge and grow as a player. So I think it's fantastic advice for the new players out there.
And to comment on your landing 6 darts, that's a great practice way too. Just try to get 6 darts to stick on the table, because not only is that going to help you with your consistency, but it's going to give you obstacles on the table as well that you have to deal with, because by the time you get to that 4th, 5th, 6th dart, you've got other darts on the table to contend with that you still want to get yours to land. So you've got to adjust your strategy to get just slightly away from those other darts so you don't bounce off of those and end up on the floor.
Yeah, and you're blessed. I mean, you get to play, against one of the best, and iron sharpens iron, and that's awesome. Right. I always tell people if you play them by yourself, it doesn't mean you don't have anybody to play against. And this is kind of silly, but when I used to play, I used to throw 6 darts, and I used to like in the most bipolar sense of it, I used to play against myself.
Right. Your alter ego.
I'd throw, Jeremy one would throw, this dart, and then, that would be the blue team. And then I'd come over and like throw the pink dart, and you'd play against each other. You're like, dang, the pink dart stuck a good one. How do I get around it? And then it's like, you're only playing yourself, but then you kind of have that competitive edge, and you are, like you said, playing around obstacles and playing strategy, but you're just doing it against yourself. It's just great fun, to kind of train and to really get going, in the sport, which I think is cool.
Absolutely. All right, Commish. So speaking of getting into the leagues, we've got this Scoreholio app. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Get us the in-depth, what we can expect, what we're looking for to get out of the Scoreholio app, and kind of the basics on how to get started on there.
Yeah, no, Scoreholio is fantastic. First off, awesome partnership. It was really awesome that they embraced the sport, embraced what we're doing. It was pivotal to our, ability to really turn this into a competitive sport. So, shout out to Scoreholio, to Ben and his team over there. They're fantastic. We really, are thrilled to death with that partnership. Scoreholio is simple. What I love about it is it's a platform that players and organizers, or people that run tournaments, can get together. It's very seamless. It's very easy to run tournaments. So to get on Scoreholio, man, is it easy, guys. I mean, in today's day and age, you're going to go to your Google Play or your Apple, like App Store, and you are going to get, just download the Scoreholio app. You get an email, you set up your player information, and you are off to the races, man. You can go on to Scoreholio. You can go to the Pop Darts Sport tab and search tournaments in your area. And while 6 months ago, not one tournament would pop up, multitudes of tournaments are popping up these days. Like, there's probably 50 plus tournaments right now that are scheduled and that are rolling on Scoreholio. So it is very, very cool. It's growing a ton around, as the sport grows. But Scoreholio is incredibly easy to get involved with and get going.
That's fantastic. And how does someone go about getting onto the national radar in the Pop Darts world?
It's incredibly easy. In fact, the APL has just made it easier for everybody, which means, and I'm super excited with this, we just changed and offered a free membership. In other words, nice. I wanted people playing. I wanted people getting ranked. We originally had it set up where if you weren't a member of the APL, you could never show up on the national rankings. That changed. You can, if you are like, hey, I don't know about this sport, but let's see what it looks like. You can sign up for a free membership for the APL, and nice. Your first tournament will count towards your rankings. So you can start pulling national rankings in league and in local tournaments and in regionals just by playing. So incredibly easy to start going, incredibly easy to start climbing the charts, and growing in the sport. And that's amazing. I mean, it's amazing that we made it, that easy to get in and start getting ranked. So really the way you start getting ranked is you start playing, get into a league, get into a tournament, and start throwing darts.
Yeah. And we've got quite a few leagues popping up all over the country, even worldwide. Is that right?
Oh, yes. So yeah, leagues are popping up everywhere, which is awesome. Our organizer base is fantastic. They are really dedicated to putting on a great experience for our players. Our organizers, they care about the sport. They care about getting people in and playing and connecting them. But yeah, that does not preclude it's not just the United States, man. It is crazy. We've got active leagues playing all over the world. I know that there's one, shout out to the UK. I think they run a very regular league out there, which is really cool to see. The reach and the extent that we are out there, and that the APL is growing, the sport of Pop Darts. So very, very cool stuff.
What's it take for somebody to get into becoming an organizer and running a league of their own, and just the details that it would take to get into that?
All right. So let's say you go on your Scoreholio, man, and you don't see nothing in your area. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. You're like, I still want to do this. I got some buddies, we play together. I think we can turn this into a league, all you got to do is reach out to us. So the APL, myself, you can reach out anytime. We'll get you set up. So you set up an organizer account. I get you all the rules. I get you everything you need. We offer support and guidance in terms of how to structure the league. We offer support in, getting people, connecting people that maybe in your area that have reached out. Believe it or not, we get a lot of, hey, I really want to play, but there's nobody in my area. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, somebody goes, hey, I'm a venue, or I'm an organizer, and I want to have Pop Darts players in my area. I'd be like, hey, guess what? I got some, here they are. So be vocal. I mean, we have amazing online communities within Pop Darts that are awesome. So shout out to like the VIP, community group. If you're not a part of that group on Facebook, you're missing out. If you're a Pop Darts fan and you don't know about that group, like, you need to get involved in that group, and don't be shy. There's a lot of people in that group that, if we don't know where you are, we don't know where you're playing, it makes this hard for us to connect you with local venues, with local organizers that are building those. So to be an organizer, you just got to reach out. You got to either email, message me, and what we'll do is we'll help get you set up. So very, very easy. Then we'll help you, start submitting tournaments, and your tournaments will go towards the national rankings. So it's a really cool opportunity for somebody who's passionate about the sport to jump in, step up, and really grow their community.
That's amazing. Could you start a league with as few as maybe 4 guys?
Absolutely. And I would encourage people to start leagues that small. The goal is to grow. The goal is to grow the sport. The goal is to have fun and, really get out there and be throwing the darts, playing the game.
Right.
So, yeah, 4 is plenty. Like, let's get going. I mean,
yeah,
let's
just
all
get
start
started.
playing. You got to start somewhere. And this is such a contagious sport. It is the most satisfying sport in the world, and that is not anybody that plays it. The only people that question whether or not that's true are those that haven't played the sport.
Absolutely. If you can get a group of 4 guys playing Pop Darts at any local venue, you're going to draw some attention. People are going to hear the pops. They're going to walk over. They're going to want to know what's going on, and they're going to be ordering some Pop Darts and joining your league real soon.
Yeah, and the cost of getting into these leagues is little to nothing. The cost of a Pop Dart, is such a low cost of, there's a low barrier of entry for people to, to pick up this sport and to start playing. So it is exciting that way. So I would absolutely encourage people to do that. In the event that you don't have a league nearby and that you don't have, the time to maybe organize or pull it together, we do have virtual leagues that are going on. And that, I think, is exciting, where all you need is your phone and a chair to point at your table, and that's it. Now, and boom, here you go. Now you can play, and you can play people all across the nation at any time. You log in, and we play our virtual leagues on Tuesdays right now. And it's a great time, and people are having a blast.
Yeah, the virtual leagues are a lot of fun. I was wondering how the scoring was going to work on that, and the way that it's structured is fantastic. I think it works perfectly for what it needs to be.
I love the virtual leagues. I think they are, it's a good community, and I think that community is growing. We've been talking to a lot of people about, like, there's a lot of people that run their local league that are talking about, like, going to that venue on virtual night and just playing from there, like playing from
Sure.
the tables that they have at their local leagues. And I'm like, I hope some of that catches on, because I think that would be even funnier. Like, I know you can, like, dartboards, and the dart players all have that, where they're in the computer and they're playing darts against each other. But
Right.
like, I think about that all the time. I'm like, how funny is that going to be if these venues all of a sudden have people like, what are you guys doing? And they look over, and it's like a screen of 20 different players all throwing Pop Darts, across the nation. I think it's
Right.
it's going to be fun. And I think that's going to be an excellent addition to Pop Darts. It's the more people playing, the better.
That's right. Watch out, local dart halls. We're taking over.
Yeah, it's there's we don't take that much space. We're not, we're a great addition, and we haven't seen any holes in the drywall yet from Pop Darts. That's I can say that, if you're a venue and you're worried about holes in your wall, Pop Darts is pretty decent addition.
That's right. Yep, no holes in the walls. That's definitely a positive.
Yeah, we did, however, put a couple of smudges on the glass last week in league. So we have a window that follows our table, and quite a few bounces off the table and stuck to the window. So
Oh yeah.
the cleaners may have something to say, but I don't think they'll be too upset with us. Let's talk about our first stick talk. Stick talk with Mr. T. This is where we as a team like to break down. We like to maybe take it down to a level that is elementary. Is, for a lot of you pros, a lot of you great players out there, this may be stuff this may be stuff you've heard about. This is where we like to really break down the technical side of the sport of pop darts. So part of this is our need and desire to nerd out. If we don't do it now, we're going to drive our wives nuts talking about specifics of pop darts. But this is where Mr. T is going to show us how to do it. So, hey, take it away. What do you got for us this week? What are we going to be starting with on?
Let's start with a little bit of a cool story. I carry this one dart around with me all the time. It's a little meaningful. This is the dart that landed closest to the T-knobber on ESPN. This is a dart that got me to play Colton. This is a dart that Kruk threw up in the air, which solidified my spot in the top 4. Super cool moment. What is this? The birthday. What do they call it? The party dart. Sorry, party dart. The white party dart. So it's got some confetti sprinkles in there. Kind of hard to see on the camera, but there it is. So anyway, let's go over the way I hold a dart. Pretty simple. You've got kind of 3 surfaces here. I rest one finger on this angled surface, one finger on this angled surface, and my thumb on the flat surface on the opposite side. And that is the way I hold a dart. Now, this thumb is maybe a little towards the backside of the top flat surface. But aside from that, once you get to throw, you're going to aim as best you can. And I always tell people just throw it like a paper airplane. So you just want to throw with a nice smooth release. Now, this is where it gets where you have to try to minimize your flipping when you throw. If you throw and just do a quick release, that's going to cause it to flip. If you can just have a gradual release off of your throw, follow through with your hand, that's the key. You can't just have a stop and let that dart fly. That's going to make that dart do crazy stuff in the air. You're going to lose control of it. And when you lose control, you're going to lose your consistency. So that is how I hold a dart.
I love that. I think some of the things that I'm gonna jump in on, because my 5-year-old will repeat this. In fact, my 5-year-old, you said something that my 5-year-old says all the time when it's comes time to pop darts, and I'll be like, Decker, how do we throw a pop dart? To which Decker will respond, we don't throw a pop dart, Dad. It's a push. And that's what exactly like you said it. It's like you don't necessarily throw it. You push it like a paper airplane. And I think so many of us that grew up playing
that's exactly
sports,
right. It's a push.
Yeah. And those of us grew up playing sports, like what sport? I mean, I can't name a whole lot where you don't follow through. I played basketball, follow through.
Right.
You know what I mean? You throw baseball, you follow through. It's
right.
You kick a soccer ball, you follow through.
Imagine what would happen to a golf ball. If you just hit it and the club stopped right there.
And whereas pop darts, that's what you're teaching people. So I think for a lot of our athletes out there, this one is a little bit challenging in that it's not a follow through. You have to take it and let it go. You have to let it go. And if you follow through, if you flick your wrist, you send the dart going a whole different direction. And I think that in and of itself is a muscle memory you got to unteach, some years of playing sports.
Absolutely. I still throw them. They still will come out of my hand the wrong way, and you can tell every time. I know it as soon as it leaves my hand. You just know. I say, oh, this one's just going to be ugly. If it lands, we're just getting lucky.
I love it. I'll also kind of jump in. I hold the dart a little bit different, but not a lot. I mean, which I think kind of goes to each and every one of us kind of hold it and throw it how, our own way. One of the things that I do, and I'll see if I can get mine out there, is you're on kind of this basis. I kind of end in the back. So this is about as far forward as I go. And you're a lot better player than me. I actually only put 2 fingers on the dart. If I get the third finger, I send it. This one just gets in the way. So I actually just use my thumb and my finger. And I hold on the backside. Now, for me, and I don't know if this is how you do it, but if I see the front of my dart dive early, I'll back it up, and then it stays up a little bit more. If I see it, kind of staying up too far, I'll move it forward a little bit on the dart. And that's how I've kind of played. I don't know if that's, necessarily the pros way of doing it, but I found that kept me from flipping the dart, too much. And
Sure.
but I also throw, we don't know the exact percentage. We're a little bit too new yet, but I throw a natural spiral on my dart. So
Okay.
I think so. Kyle is a natural spiral too. I think Kyle
for sure.
from ESPN,
Kyle's,
and
he's got a hard spiral.
yeah. So and it's a natural thing. It's not like when I talk to people about it, we don't like spin our dart. He doesn't spin his dart. It's just when we let go, it sends it into into a spiral. So I think we all just making this up, but I think it's like 10 to 20% of us throw kind of more of a natural spiral. So
okay.
I'd be curious from our fans, which one of you guys throw spirals versus what I call kind of a dead dart or a smooth dart through the zone. But it's
when mine gets that spiral, that's usually a mistake on my end. That means it just kind of held onto that front finger a little too long, and I know it every time. But generally, when I throw a dart the way I want to throw a dart, it stays. It's like a knuckleball. It doesn't spin at all.
Yeah, and that's that again. I wish so. I tried for a long time when I kind of found out that was rare. I'm like, well, none of the good players are throwing that. I tried to get the spin out of my throw, and it never. It caused more problems than it did anything else. It got into my head. So I've always thrown a spiral. So
everybody's
throw a little bit different.
Exactly. Everybody's going to be a little different. Don't try to be everybody else. Don't try to be the next prodigy. Be the first you.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, understanding that each of us is going, everybody shoots a basketball different. Everybody throws a baseball different. Like, this is the same thing with this sport. I think the fundamentals are there. I think you want the results. You want that dead dart flying through the air. You want it to stay up. You don't want it flipping. I think those are the key to the release of your dart. And like I said, even if you're me and you're throwing a spiral, if you're you and you're throwing a dead dart, we're still not following through. We're still pushing it like a paper airplane. It's still same motion and that same throw, just different methods to get the same thing done. So I think that's super, super cool.
Yeah, the release is so important on your throw as far as where your release is, whether it's right at the top of the arc of your throw or if it's a little after the arc or a little before the arc. And sometimes I'll adjust that depending on where I need to get that dart on the table. If I need to, if Colton puts a wall of darts in front of the target for me and I've got nowhere to go except for try to go up over, I'll release that dart just a little bit earlier to get a little loft out of it and try to sneak over the top of those darts. And then on the opposite of that, if there's a lot of congestion, on the side or in the back side of the dart, I'll release a little later in the throw, and that'll give it more of a line drive and kind of throw it right there in the front where I want it to go.
Yeah, that's great advice. And that's exactly what these players can start to think about, can worry about. And, good reason to tune in and listen to us every week, because this is kind of stuff that, like, the more you throw, the more you learn, the more you can really think through the game. And, we do encourage our listeners, hey, send us an email, send us a DM, send us a message, with your strategies, challenge us, tell us what you want to see, because, big part of the show is going to be interactive. We plan on interacting with our fans. We plan on, talking, these first couple episodes are all going to be aired prior to us launching. But, going forward after this, we plan on listening to the fans. We plan on bringing our fans comments and videos, submit videos to us, submit comments to us. That's stuff that we are going to read, look through, air, have out here for us. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of fun and interactivity, but like, that's what we want to see. If you've got a video, if you've got a comment, do you throw differently? Is there something that works for you, something that didn't work for you, something that you learned that you've now taken to a different level than even Mr. T and I have? Share that with us. Like, share that with the Pop Darts community. Let's get that out there.
Absolutely. We're all learning. Absolutely. One big tip that I can tell people, especially new players, when you're getting nervous in a game. So during the ESPN tournament, when we were walking in from outside, there was a booth outside handing out little microfiber rags with the ESPN logo on them, with the Ocho on them. And so I took that rag, I clipped it on the side of my backpack. And then when we were actually playing out there, I we were throwing a lot of practice darts before we actually started filming. There was just a lot of playing around, a lot of fun games we were playing, a lot of practice, and it's a big stage and there's a lot of lights and you start to get a little nervous and sometimes you get a little sweaty on your hands. And there is nothing worse than a sweaty hand when you're trying to grip a dart, because you don't grip this dart very tight. It's a very loose grip on this dart. It's just kind of setting in your hand. I'm barely squeezing on it. So if there's sweat on your hands, it's just, it likes to slip down. It just doesn't stay where you want it to stay. So I kept that rag on my side and I could just reach down on my side and wipe my hand, dry my hand real quick. And it was a game changer, because once I hit this dart and got close, I knew I had to be on the big stage going against Colton, and the nerves kicked in and that rag was clutch. And we still use it just on our lives, just to wipe your hands off, because it always helps.
I agree. And I mean, to me, not everybody's playing in an ideal location. And
Right.
What I mean by that is it's not always clean, it can be dusty. I recommend wiping the dart here and there. I recommend,
Absolutely.
keeping the dart clean. Dust, debris, anything like that's going to prevent your suction, prevent
Chicken wing
your dart
sauce
from sticking. Yeah, that's not going to help. I mean, I don't think. I mean, we can check that, but I don't think that having, sauce on the dart's going to help a lot. One of the things I will note to some of our users, here's another little tip from the commish. Water does not help it stick, guys. I don't know why there's some common misconception that, getting it wet will make it more sticky. What I found on porous surfaces is if the dart is wet, it just slides right off. So I don't find any success with like a super wet dart. I think if you wipe it and then you clean it with a rag so it's like dry, that's probably the tackiest deal to have a dart, be is kind of just freshly cleaned, if you will, but dry.
Squeaky clean.
Yes, there you go.
Squeaky clean is what we go for. We wash them before every live. We always start with clean darts. When we would play in the barn, we played out there a few times. When the weather's nice, we'll still go out there, but it's a little dustier out there, so we'll leave a little bowl of water next to us up at where we're standing, just to be able to dip and dry off real quick, because the dust is definitely an enemy to the pop darts.
Yes, absolutely. Dust is, it's the enemy to getting something to stick. So, keeping the darts clean, keeping them, like we said, we're going to call it squeaky clean. That's our ideal pop dart, for getting something to stick.
Right.
We're moving into what I think is going to become people's favorite segment, or at least it's going to become our favorite segment, so that we can get really excited about it. Here we go. Without further ado, let us jump in to the Pop Top 5, which this week I was really excited to see, some of the videos that we came across.
These are great.
A couple of these made me giggle, man. There's some pretty good videos out there. Like we said, hey, please send us your video if you think that you guys have a video that is, worthy of, jumping on here, getting reviewed, getting laughed at, making everybody, feel good, about Pop Darts. Send them our way. We cannot wait to post your videos and talk about them and have everybody out here looking. We will give you guys credit. We will, we'll call out your socials. We'll call out,
absolutely,
your videos. And, so definitely get that stuff out to us. So without further ado, should we start with this first one here?
For sure. I love this one. This one cracks me up.
Here we go. Hey, remember those rookie darts, guys? Here we go. Here's one.
Fantastic.
When she turns around, like I can almost imagine like the look on her face. She heard the pop. Like
she did.
Heard the pop and turned.
She did.
Right.
Once you hear that pop.
Oh man.
Yep,
she's gonna keep throwing those, and I bet we're gonna get a video here. Hopefully she's not too much taller when she sticks one of those on the T-knobber, because that would be
she'll get it.
That's too awesome. So
fantastic.
Really, really funny. I love that. All right. We're going to go here from one of our, youngest fans over here to our couples. Let's see if are they competitive at all? Let's take a look at this one.
This game slaps.
Hey! Oh! This is...
So Pop Dates, those guys are fantastic.
They are
Zach
great.
and Jasmine.
Jasmine is like, you could tell she's not giving him nothing. She was not happy when he got one on her. So, but I've seen some of her scores come in. She's not laying down for nobody. She's out there dominating right now. So
oh yeah, she's not gonna give in.
No, she is not. So yeah, those guys are great. Pop Darts Dates, they have some hilarious videos, and
they've got some fantastic videos.
Dude, him and AI, oh my God, that stuff is great. I mean, if you can't get on board, he does some hilarious AI ones. So yeah, if you haven't seen some their work, they're great. And shout out to them. I think that is absolutely, that's Pop Dart Dates, is like they are pretty good. So Zach and Jasmine are fantastic. All right, here we go.
Confess your love 1 minute.
Oh! He's a bad man.
And hear it count like that.
Oh! I'm behind that! Did he stick that in there?
Sure did.
You just stole it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh!
Jeez.
Do something crazy.
Just.
Okay.
Right?
Is it a double doink if it doesn't hit the table?
I call it a double doink.
I agree.
For sure. He snipes it. Oh man, with the knockout.
What a round. What a round. That is too funny.
What a round.
I know. I love it. That's vintage Kyle, man. That's the stuff he's been doing, for who knows how long. I mean, that guy, he still knows how to throw a dart, man. And he's throwing his signature dart. He loves them. He loves that. The Bleens is his go-to.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right.
As you'll see here in this next video, he's even got his bleen shirt.
Oh yeah, there's Kyle. So we're gonna go to the ESPN stage here. Take a look at it. It is one of the rare shots, especially to get this dart to stay.
Oh, for sure.
Rare. Here we go.
To stay, yes. It's just so satisfying when you stick a fender bender and the dart just stops. It's like it was just put there. There's no wobble. There's no more action on the dart. It's just stuck there, and it's not going anywhere. It's so satisfying.
It's amazing. It's fun. It's such a cool shot. I mean, it is rare. I mean, I feel like I see that shot less than I see like a wiggle knobber or a T-knobber these days.
Absolutely.
Getting that dart to stick under there is wild. So
yeah. Yeah, aside from the triple knobber on our trick shot board, the fender bender is the most difficult shot to get because you can't really – it's so hard to do that on purpose. It's not something you try for.
No, it's incredibly difficult to – I mean, I don't think you can necessarily try for it. So it's got to be – that's a rare shot. And it's really cool that he hits it on a big stage. Mike was all over that T-knobber all night long and just couldn't get one to stick. But, yeah, it was really cool that he had that moment and that he was able to destroy that. That was an awesome shot.
Yeah.
All right. To the owners, guys, I mean, you got to love the excitement, the passion here. So I love this video. The founders duking it out. So here we go.
Josh could end the game this round.
There it is.
All he needs is 3 points.
Look at these guys. No, that hurts. This is a defensive play. He's gonna do it. Defensive play, I'm gonna clog his instant win, because I know he's gonna go for it. You gotta put it like right over his instant win so he can't get an instant win here. Baby, wow! Woo! Alright.
Jason needs a big shot to stay alive.
On that one, don't you? I just gotta get a three-pointer. Three-pointer?
Yeah, 3-pointer, it'll be good.
Yeah! Oh my
gosh! That's the excitement. That's the excitement of the game. That's that's what these guys do, and it's great. This is how the game is supposed to be played. This is how you're supposed to be competitive, but you're supposed to be having fun. And I guess if you're playing against your brother, you would go and block his instant win.
Absolutely.
Which I
would do the same thing to Colton.
That made the video so much better. Josh goes after him. He's like, absolutely not. He's like, I know what you're about to do here, and I'm not allowing that. Like, he goes, absolutely not. So very cool. I mean, those are awesome. Again, some of the greatest, trick shots, videos, things on the planet. I mean, I think that is, what makes Pop Darts fun. I think this competitive sports side of things is only going to make these videos and these crazy things we see, step up, if you will. So
absolutely
very cool. I love the Pop Dart 5. That was awesome. So again, if you guys have any submissions, if you have anything you guys want or need to see us, post and talk about and give shout outs, we'd love to see your videos. Get them out to us, and let's get you guys a call out. We'll get you a call out right on the podcast, and can tag you guys in any of the videos and anything that you guys need. So definitely submit that stuff over. Well, that's some great advice. I think we had good information on holding the dart, how to hold the dart. The second part of our stick talk today, we wanted to address, and Mr. T is going to jump in here with tower strategy. So what is the tower, first off? If you want to tell us what the tower is, and your thoughts on where the tower fits into the game of Pop Darts.
So the tower is a mod put out by Pop Darts Game to add to the table, to add a little bit of excitement to the game. So it's going to go on the front right corner of your table, and there's actually an exact location stated in the APL rules showing exactly where it's supposed to sit on the table, but it's up in that front right corner. So the tower shot, it's worth 5 points. Now the top of it is it's a little bit bigger than a target marker, so it's a little bit bigger target, not much, but it's there, and it's solid, so it's a lot easier to land on compared to an actual target that's not solid. It's a rubber target, it's silicone target, so it's a little more difficult to land on. So the tower, 5 points, huge in the right situation. Now going for the tower shot, first thing you got to keep in mind is that it's in a different location on the table. So if your throw is consistent enough to where you're trying to hit that 12-6-3 zone, and now you've got to go completely to the 2 feet in front and a foot to the right and totally throw off your whole system. What I like to do, I'll just take a little step to the right and kind of reposition my footing to where I'm in a different position, different starting position, because I know that this starting position is my tower starting position. So another big difference is, and it doesn't seem like it would matter that much, but that tower is about a foot tall compared to your 3-inch tall target marker. So that tower being a foot tall, that throws off your aim, because now you've got to almost aim behind the tower in order to land on top of the tower. So there's a lot to it. You've really got to, that height difference makes a difference. Whether maybe it's just a mental thing for me, but I've got to really focus in on the fact that height difference has changed. My throw distance has changed by about 2 feet. Probably I'm throwing about 2 feet shorter than what I am normally throwing. And I'm off to the right. I'm also dealing with the fact that if I miss this target, I'm probably going to go off the table completely and completely lose my points. So is it really worth going for the 5 points right now? Or should I hold back, just get a safe dart, get that point, lock that in? But there are times where that tower, it's just perfect timing to go for that tower. When you've got the close dart locked in and you know that your opponent's not going to get there. Obviously, he could land on top. He could do something crazy. But if you've got a feeling that you've got this locked in and it's time to go for a tower and really get some points up on the board, that's when it's time to go for it. And hitting that tower, it's everything in this sport so satisfying, but hitting that tower, there's just something different about it because it's just like this dart sitting way up on this peak, just looking down at the table, looking down at all these other little 3-point and 1-point darts, and it's standing up there king of the tower, 5 points.
So strategy wise, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So it sounds like very similar to, our discussions, we go on, whether you go for close dart or whether you're going for your T-knobbers or whether you're going for, your wiggle knobbers or to land it on top. When do you find, so you just mentioned like there's times when you should go for it. There's times when you're like, you feel like you need to go for it. what are those times? Like from a strategy standpoint, are there times when you're like, this is a no doubter, we got to go for it? Are there times when, I stay away from it at all costs? Like you mentioned having the closest dart, but is that the only time you go for a tower? Or how do you gauge that in your personal game?
So no, that's not going to be the only time I'll go for it. Sometimes you want to go for the tower just for the excitement of it, because it's awesome. It's just so cool to hit a tower shot. And so a lot of times if I've got a somewhat close dart and if I've got a big lead, I'll throw a dart. I'll throw my third dart at the tower. See what happens. Let's go. Let's see what happens. If we can get it on there, we just added 5 points. I mean, that's huge. That could be a game winner right there easily. And what's great about the 5-pointer is it can make a close start of your opponent's close start obsolete, because you're getting 5 points for that. They've only got 3 for a close start. You're 2 up on them right there. So if it's really congested in front of that target, but your opponent is closer, but you're not getting in there, maybe a tower shot's worth it. Go for it. If you can stick that, you're back on the board.
I love that. So another question I had to talk about is, when we're talking about the tower, how does this change your strategy, as a player when it comes to, and I'll kind of give a little background for those of them that are unfamiliar, for those of you listening that are unfamiliar with the official APL rules. The APL rules are played with 2, let's call them thrower boxes. Okay. There's a right box and there's a left box. And those are 3 by 4 foot boxes that you play from within when you're playing. How does that impact? How does the tower impact whether you would take a right box, a left box, etc., at the beginning of the game? How does the tower impact those?
So decisions? For those of you that pay attention to our lives on Pop Darts Prodigy, I generally throw on the right side, or I guess when you're looking at it from your point of view, I'd be on the left side, Colton be on the right side, but I'm generally on the same side of the table as the tower. So I've got a major advantage there over Colton as far as my tower shot, because I can take a slight step to the right and almost guarantee that even if I miss the tower, I'm still going to land on the table. Now Colton, on the other hand, being on the far side, it's a little more of it's definitely more of a risk for him, because if he misses that target, there's about a 95% chance he's going off the table completely. So that definitely makes a difference especially in a high pressure tournament game. It makes a difference on whether or not you're going to go for the tower. I would be a lot more leery of going for the tower from the left side than the right side.
Yeah, no, and this is the strategy. These are the games within the games that,
right.
And something like the tower, like you said, it's not something that everybody's going for. It's not something that everybody's shooting for on a regular basis, but the fact that it does impact the game, the fact that people have to think about that, but before the game even starts, like, where the strategy comes into it, I think the tower adds an element to Pop Darts that is, it's exciting. It gets fun to look at and to think about, so.
Right. It's just that tempting little thing over in the corner. It's like, should I go for it? Should I stay away from it? Sometimes that tower seems like it's cursed. I'll go on a all night game trying to get a tower. I'll go on a streak, just, I'll get a close start and okay, I'm going to go for a tower. And sometimes it takes forever to hit, but once it finally hits, you get that pop and it was all worth it.
The tower also gives you that, for those of you that don't know, it gives you the demoralizing tone of almost hitting the tower. So
yes,
the little ting,
the tings. Yes,
those of you that are listening that have gone after the tower know exactly what we're talking about. But unlike the miss slap of a missed, T knob or wiggle knob, right, the tower gives you a little bit of a metallic reminder that you missed. So.
Yes, it's a different disappointing sound.
So, that ting in and of itself is fun. And yeah, I'm not a huge tower guy. However, I have started, in leagues and stuff, if I've got the point secure, I'm going for the demoralizing, I'm going for the demoralizing tower. That's just, I want to get one. I want to get it. So yeah, I'm on a tower kick too. So
it's just a slap in the face to your opponent. It's just like,
it's like, yep, you got the 2 points, instead of taking that third, what you're doing is you're lining up to see if you can't take like 7 or 8. And they're like, what the heck? So yes, tower is awesome. I think the development of the tower, I think where the tower goes in gameplay, I think you're going to see games won and lost by the tower. really believe that. I think that there's going to be, it's going to become a big, part of the game in terms of like, as we move on, we're noticing, a lot of these, especially the sport, once you get good at it, there's very few things that separate, some of the top players. And I think you're going to see specialty shots becoming, more and more common in some of these big tournaments where if you're not hitting them, if you're not going after them, is it going to be a disadvantage is the question mark, over the course of the 25-26 season. So,
if you could get proficient in a tower shot, you could be a very dangerous player.
There's arguments to saying if you're a righty and you get in that side of the box, I'm not making this argument, but hey, if one of our viewers is, and that's the bed you lie on, you come tell us how you're doing. Cause a 5-point dart, figuring out how to master, the tower.
It's huge.
I don't see it as being a strategy, but hey, weird things have happened, and that's one of our viewers, one of our listeners is going to definitely be like, nah, dude, like I'm a tower junkie. Like this is
a tower slayer.
Yeah. Tower slayer. Yep. The tower slayer is going to come up, and he's going to be winning leagues, and somebody's going to wear that, they're going to wear that badge of honor and continue to win the tower. So, and I can't wait. Like somebody will compile a list and we'll have a video on here in a couple months, I'm sure, now that we got this out there.
We'll have to do a top 5 of just tower shots.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Especially once we get these video submissions rolling in, it's going to get crazy. I know, our fans are just going to have an absolute blast. These guys are so talented, and they know how to have fun, which I think makes it a good time.
It is a great group of guys.
All right, everybody. And as we wrap up this week's episode, what we're going to try to do here is, kind of end with a little bit of advice. And, Mr. T, it can be about strategy. It can be about the game. It can be about life, man. Like something from you, something from me. Let's give these guys, something to end on every week, as we sign off. I will say, hey, next week, it's going to be a good one. Next week, I'm excited. It's going to be our first behind the board. We are going to have our first interview. We're going to be talking, from the backyard to the championship court. Like, this episode is going to be wild. I'm super excited. I know our next guest real well, but I know him pretty excited. Well. I'm excited to bring the prodigy in, to the podcast and say hi. Always a blast, talking Pop Darts with one of the greats. So, we are excited, to have our first behind the board interview, on our podcast next week.
Yep. He's excited about it. He's looking forward to it.
So like I said, we're going to end with a little bit of advice. So, Mr. T, what do you got? What do you got for the crowd? What do you got for the fans?
All right, guys. So we talked a lot about Pop Darts today, about how to hold your Pop Darts. So what I want you to do, let's get your Pop Darts out, practice with your throws, practice different ways to throw it. Like the commish is throwing with just 2 fingers. I'm throwing with 3. Figure out what works for you. Everybody's going to be different. Just because your throw doesn't look like the way that we showed you doesn't mean it's wrong. Just do what works for you. Play around with it.
I love it. I love that advice. I'm just going to leave you guys with this, and this is something that I believe wholeheartedly. Play, man. Play. I don't know if you got to play with your kids, if you got to play, with your buddy, if you got to get into the virtual leagues, if you can get into a league nearby, play. That's my big thing. This game is fun. You are going to love it. It's going to make you smile. It's going to make you laugh. So that's really, my advice. And what I'm going to say to everybody, kind of signing off is, hey, go play, go have some fun. So, all right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
That's another round of What's Poppin', the most satisfying sports podcast in the world with Mr. T and the Commish. The only place where suction cups and smack talk collide. Follow the madness on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at What's Poppin' Podcast. And catch every episode wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, keep your aim tight and your suction strong.